What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. Hope you're doing well. Yesterday, I came across something really interesting. And if you remember, there were times when Netanyahu would just disappear, and people would be all over social media saying, "Where's Netanyahu? Where's Netanyahu?" Well, he just made an announcement that he has prostate cancer. And I said, okay, well, that probably explains why he kept disappearing and then reappearing. And then he would go periods of time and nobody would hear from him or know where he was. So he's undergone treatment, but it's not a lot of detail of what stage of cancer that he had with prostate cancer. But I'm just going to let you hear from people and their reaction to it. And I had to not post some of it because there were people actually cheering the fact that Netanyahu had prostate cancer. So, you got to be careful about what you post. But the ones I have are at least acceptable. So, let me go ahead and share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. It's no telling how long he's been getting this treatment. Thank you.
So it has finally been official.
Just had to have that old loud ass music.
Netanyahu has just announced that he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. In a statement on Friday, Netanyahu revealed that he postponed the release of his medical records by 2 months to prevent Iran from being able to use his cancer diagnosis for propaganda. He says that he has now been fully treated after the removal of an early-stage malignant tumor, and now he is completely cancer-free. The interesting thing is that this will inevitably top all headlines just days after the announcement that his trial had been canceled due to security reasons, where he was supposed to appear on the witness stand. It's also interesting to note that his last testimony was on February 23rd of 2026, just 5 days before the US and Israel attacked Iran. But you know what? I'm sure this is just all a coincidence.
Netanyahu has cancer. Don't take my word for it. He has just revealed that he has been undergoing treatment and monitoring for the last 2 years for prostate cancer. Cancer, of course, is a very bad thing for ordinary individuals. And the Israeli Prime Minister revealed that he had surgery even to remove a tumor, basically. And he kept it hidden so long, over 2 years, so as not to fuel, quote, Iranian propaganda, end quote. Well, now he says the latest examination, the monitoring of his situation reveals that even after the surgery, he still has a little bit of cancerous cells, less than 1 centimeter within the prostate, still. Oh no. I'm sure many millions across the world will be praying for the cancer. I mean, for Netanyahu to beat the cancer. Anyway, that's the news. Now here's the analysis. Oh, it's a finished cup of tea. I don't think I've ever done that on camera. Wow. Anyway, the analysis, because of course I'm going to bring the geopolitics into this. train yourselves. I invite you guys to see the bigger picture behind the headlines. There always is a bigger picture that every little bit of news contributes into. So let's cover it. The Israeli head of state withheld medical details, fearing that propaganda would be made on the back of it, the effects of which he must respect the power of, no? Otherwise, he wouldn't have hidden his medical condition. He would have said, let them make propaganda. Nobody is listening. Well, everyone is listening to Iranian propaganda these days. Lego-style videos are awash. YouTube is awash, I should say, with Lego-style Iranian quote-unquote propaganda videos. So he must respect the power of Iranian propaganda, even if he does not agree with it. It is, after all, social media and the common people across the world that has led the sentiments of the standard regular citizens, I should say, rather, across the world, in response to what Israel might classify as propaganda. It's that propaganda that has led to Israel basically becoming a pariah state these last 3 years after the Gaza crisis. Meaning pariah, meaning outcast state on the world stage. Like in school, if a guy was found to have, let's say, some hobby or something really weird about him, everyone finds out. Let's say he, for some reason, can't be kicked out of school for it, but the next day when he comes in and everyone's been looking at what he's been up to or whatever his hobby is or whatever, everyone's going to sort of keep a wide berth, give him a bit of a distance, except perhaps the truly desperate. Now, why can't this guy in the analogy, this kid, be kicked out of school, even though he is super weird, maybe depraved, and lying?
So we just heard from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He came out with a tweet a couple of hours ago, and his office came out with a statement saying that he had undergone successful prostate surgery about a year and a half ago. Now, he kind of turned this into a bit of a political message. He said that a year and a half ago, doctors observed a little lesion, a little less than a centimeter, on his prostate. He was given the choice of whether or not he wanted to live with it or have it removed. And he said in his tweet that he wanted it removed. And he said, you know me, whenever there's a danger to myself or the country, I'm going to take action. But this isn't the first time we've seen the Prime Minister have some health issues. He was given a pacemaker back in 2023, and he had surgery for a hernia back in 2024. Let's see if this latest announcement, which the Prime Minister said he was delaying in order not to distract from the war with Iran, let's see if it causes any distractions.
In case you missed it, Benjamin Netanyahu got diagnosed with prostate cancer a few months ago. It was only released yesterday. He underwent surgery for it, and he says, thank God I'm okay. So I'm very conflicted because I'm typically very against wishing death upon political opponents, but it is Benjamin Netanyahu, so I don't know. I'm usually very strong about not wanting people to die for political reasons.
Y'all want to know something? You know when a person has been wicked because if you notice and I kid you not, if you go out on TikTok, there is not one sympathetic video. Not one. Not one. I'm not exaggerating either. Not one. And I didn't expect to see any, but it rings very true when you go over there. Not one sympathetic video. And I was like, when someone has done so many wicked things that when the world hears you have cancer, there's not any get well soon videos out there. Nothing like that. Nothing. When I say nothing, nothing. And I think I told y'all yesterday I was looking over a lot of the stuff about wars and all this stuff that's going on over there. Israel bombed 6 different countries in 1 year. And I'm like, I just don't know. Like I said, I don't know how anybody can live there. I would absolutely hate to live in a country where there's constant wars, constant bombings. You bomb a country and the country bombs you back. They've been fighting with Hezbollah for years. They're going back and forth with Lebanon, and then there was Iran, and then there was Gaza. I mean, the wars are endless. It is absolutely endless. I don't see, and to me, I really see the Heavenly Father showing us, because if the Jews, it says clearly, when the Jews are restored back in their land, there would be peace on earth. There's not even peace in Israel. How can a group of people bring peace to the world when they can't even bring it to themselves? Bombing 6 different countries in 1 year? How is that peace on earth? So, I mean, it's just so many indicators that these could never be the people. There's no way. There is now, they can't even bring peace to themselves over there. If you can't do that for yourself, you can't do that for the world. Unbelievable. But this is what we've been looking at for years. Y'all, I remember being a child, and we would see the bombings going on even back then. It seems like it's been nonstop since they've been in that land. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, a lot of people did that. I noticed a lot of people jumped on that story about the swarm of bees. I seen a few more yesterday, actually. I didn't watch the videos, but I saw the titles out there when I was looking through to see what people had posted. But yeah, a lot of people did that story of Israel hit with a swarm of bees. And that swarm stuck around, y'all. It didn't just leave overnight. So yeah, that is crazy. And they said they didn't even see that coming. They had no idea where those bees came from. Came from the Most High. That's why you didn't see it coming. Didn't he say he was going to come like a thief in the night? Well, he sent those bees like a thief in the night. That's why you didn't see it coming. Mm-hmm. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Look, it is so many stories. And you know what's funny? The first story I did was the correspondent dinner at the White House. There are so many people that are saying this whole shooting was fake. This was fake. And there's some people calling the shooter a black man. Y'all, I'm looking at this dude. He don't look like, it look like there's something going on there. I'm not seeing a full looking black man. There's something definitely else in this dude. What, I don't know. And I saw pictures of his siblings, and they look of almost like a mixed race like him. Yeah, he does to me too, but there are people saying he's a black man. And I'm like, I ain't 100% sure about that. There's definitely something else there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right, Keeson. It seems like every time there's somebody there to try to get Donald Trump, they seem to all be bad shots, don't they? Maybe you're onto something, because they all seem to be bad shots, every last one of them. And You know, that's why there's so many people saying it's fake. Look, didn't his ear get grazed? If you notice, whenever there's a close-up shot of Donald Trump or one off to, his profile side, you don't see not one mark on his ear. You don't see no mark on his ear. You don't see nothing. Mhm. But see, I'm inclined to believe this whole thing is fake, and I'm not surprised, listen, that they're labeling him a black guy. Donald Trump has been trying to lure our people to the streets. He could not successfully do it. No matter what he tried to do, he couldn't get us out in the street so they can declare martial law. But all of a sudden, the shooter comes up and people are saying he's a black man. I don't think that's a coincidence. They're trying to do anything they can to put something on us. Mhm. No, but he claims they're gonna have another dinner. This is what he's claiming. He's claiming they're gonna have another dinner. Mm-mm. But yeah, all of a sudden, because our people are not known for assassinating politicians. We don't have a history of that. We don't. White people do, but we don't have a history of doing that. But all of a sudden, this dude comes for what? I would love to know what he's going to say as far as why he went in there with a gun. And another thing I find strange, don't y'all find it strange that they claim this is a black man and he didn't get unalived? Usually they will just unalive us just on the spot, just bang, don't even ask questions, don't investigate, they just pew pew you. Now, he went running, and when you look at the surveillance, he went running through. They didn't hit him up with some bullets. I just find that strange. They don't do us like that. They give everybody else the benefit of the doubt. But when it's us, it's always shoot first, ask questions later. But they didn't pew pew this guy. They take our people out for far less. Well, yeah, I heard this dude that they claimed did the shooting. He also, I believe he worked at NASA. He was working on some space program, and now he's a teacher. I did hear that much about him. And I think he was a scientist when he was over at NASA. He was a scientist. But yeah, right now, I almost every video I see, everybody think this whole thing is fake. All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. Be on the lookout for my videos tomorrow. Shalom, family.